May 6th, 2003. Dear Diary, I'm 13 now. Totally random M&M sticker. Here's a little passage from exactly 10 years ago. This was in May 18th, 2011. I'm 21 now. I started writing when I was 7. It's funny how much time has passed. So much and so little has changed, and I feel like I am the same person I was when I was 7 years old. Yeah, that's basically it. Hi, hello, feel very welcome. If you're new here, I'm Catz. I make videos every week. With no further ado, let's talk about journaling. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope I will be journaling for the rest of my life, honestly. Here are my journals, all of them. As you can see, I've been using different formats throughout the years, different notebooks. This is my current one. It was actually a gift from my little brother. And I want to show you my first ever journal. It was this one. I was 7 years old and my uncle gave this to me as a Christmas present. I never heard about journals before. He actually had to explain to me that it was a notebook where I could write whatever I wanted and no one else could read it besides me. It has this little locker, very cute. You know, I was 7 years old and I will never forget this. I was so excited, like it was maybe the best gift ever. I don't know, it was like magic. As I told you before in one of my previous videos about being an introvert, I always liked to read, to be in my little corner, do my little things. So I easily started writing quite regularly in this journal. I can tell you the first sentence I ever wrote in my life in a diary, and it is nagging about my mother. Last Friday, my mother was starting to pissing me off. This was the first thing I wrote. You know, I think I really synced in that thing that you can write whatever you want, it's a secret and your parents will not read it. So initially I was using my diary to vent about my parents. That's how it started, and you know, it's simple as that. If you look up journaling here on YouTube, it can be really overwhelming. You will find some people giving you like rules to follow about the structure of what you are writing, schedules, organization methods. And you know, I think that for someone that never journaled before, it can be a little daunting, it can be a little overwhelming. And as someone who has been writing for 24 years, as I told you, for me, that approach does not really make much sense. I would say just write. Get yourself a notebook. You don't have to have a fancy journal. As you can see here, I used just common notebooks. Nowadays, for the last years, I've been preferring these smaller notebooks with a hardcover. I like this size, it's good to keep them in a drawer. So I will tell you a little bit about my experience, why I write, when, how, all of that. For me, journaling, it's a bit like therapy. Don't get me wrong, it does not replace therapy. I'm not talking in that sense, but it has a therapeutic effect on me. Throughout my life, since my teenage years, I noticed that if I were to spend a lot of time without writing, I would feel it. I would feel the need to write. So why exactly? Because for me, my diary, it was or it is like this close friend with whom I can speak about anything, whether I'm sad or I'm stressed. And I know that there isn't any judgment. In a way, I can get out of my head. Sometimes you don't need to talk directly to someone, to a real person, to get something out of your system. And for me, a diary is, first of all, a way to take bad things out of my system. So much that if you were to read all my journals, first of all, I would kill you. And then you would probably think that I am quite a depressive person, quite an anxious person, because that's usually the state of mind I'm in when I sit down to write. So just like when you go to social media, you see the highlights of people's lives, and that's why it's not real life, it does not show the downs. With journaling, it's kind of the opposite. If you go and read someone else's journal, you will have probably access to the worst parts of their life, to the darkest parts of their minds, of their hearts. So that's one of the reasons why I write. Other thing is because I freaking love it. I love to write about anything, really. One other aspect of journaling is that it helps me remember. I'm kind of a nostalgic person. I love photos, I love videos, and it makes so much sense to me to write about life, to have my feelings and thoughts from other days registered somehow. Then, in terms of consistency, I have to tell you, I am not the most consistent person. There were times in my life where I know that I was writing almost every day or every week. Other times I was writing every month. But again, I don't think that's really important. If you want to create a habit, maybe it's a good idea to create some kind of schedule for yourself. Because if you never journaled before, you won't even remember to do it, Otherwise, I think you can just write whenever you feel like writing. In terms of how I like to do it, I like to handwrite. I cannot imagine keeping a journal in my computer. And there's something magic about picking up an old diary, and if you touch the pages, you can feel the texture of the ink. You have that real notion that you wrote this. And I'm not sure if you are able to be as authentic when you are writing in your computer as you are when you are handwriting. And nowadays, if you are in a computer, it's easy for you to be distracted with some pop-up or other windows, other tabs opened in your computer. When you are writing in a journal, you are 100% focused in what you are doing. As I told you before, I think journaling had a huge effect on the person I am today. The first thing that comes to my mind is that I feel so close to my inner child, to my inner teenager. If I go and read my journal from when I was 7, when I was 12, when I was 16, it's like I can feel the feelings from back then. And that is a wonderful thing, but at the same time, it's also not very good because it really contributes to my Peter Pan syndrome. Like, I will feel forever like a child because of how closer I feel to that mini version of myself. So memories are a lot clearer. I think I am more of a nostalgic person because of journaling. I feel like I have more empathy as well towards other people, mainly children, teenagers. I have a clearer notion because of journaling of how much I've changed. People do not change that much in their core, in their essence. But in terms of opinions, values, priorities, you change so much throughout your life. And so I am really curious to see how much I will change. And it's quite interesting, to look back, see where you were, what you were thinking, and look at you now and see how far you've gone, what changed, how much your problems, the things that were worrying you at that time, do not matter anymore. Another awesome thing about journaling, in the darkest times of my life, I wrote, and I would try to write also when I was feeling good. When you find yourself in a dark hole, it's really hard to see beyond that. It's like you need something to climb and it's nothing there. By journaling, you are creating tools for yourself, because if in a good day You go and read a passage from a darkest moment, and it's like you don't recognize yourself, you don't recognize your thoughts. And on the other hand, if you are having a bad day, it is good to have some good days registered in your journals, so you can read those good days and think to yourself, okay, my life is not all darkness, I have good days, I have a proof right here, and so this too shall pass. And I know that this seems obvious, but when you are feeling so low, it is very important to have some proof that you can conquer that day, that week, that month, that year even, and get through to the other side and to a brighter mind, a brighter day, you know? But yeah, journaling, for me, it's like having a best friend inside your drawer. Poor guy. Journaling, it's like having a best friend that is always there for you, except this friend is yourself. And yeah, for me, journaling is like the closest thing to magic that I have in my life. It is like a little time machine that I keep in my nightstand, and I can just go back in time. I'm gonna stop talking now. I could talk about journaling for hours, but I have to stop. Let me know in the comments section below. Have you ever had a journal? Do you plan on start journaling after watching this video? Tell me about your experience. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every week, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye! Let me see my tormented teenage self. February 10th, 2005. Dear Diary, I don't know what to think. Tell me please, how can I like any guy if my first love does not get out of my head? Then, on the other hand, my heart still jumps whenever I see this guy, my crush at the time. Then there's this other guy, I'm not naming people here, who does not leave my mind. Now tell me, do you think this is normal? No, of course not. I like first guy since second grade. The second guy does not even go in that school anymore, and the third guy is just my friend. I can't take this. I need answers. Look, I'm out. Kisses.